remember, also called David, but usually he goes by the name Dave. It's probably one of the few ways to make a distinction between each other. Nevertheless, welcome, and I'm really happy to have you guys all here with us. And this is our second workshop, actually. So I want to ask you guys, how many of us are we here tonight? We have 168 people, and as we're waiting for Dave to set up a few things regarding the presentation, first of all, let's just address the elephant in the room. ChatGPT is down, which is fun. How are you supposed to learn about ChatGPT if it's down? Don't worry, we've prepared with the presentation. You will be able to watch it back. The recording will be made available to you after this session, so you won't miss a thing. Now, I just want to ask you guys in the comments, just write me, is this your first time here, or were you with us last week as well? Just see how many people do we have here who are slowly becoming regulars. Let's see the comments. First time. Hey, Nicholas. Arrogant is repeat. Pretty good username. I don't know what to say to that. Okay, so we have a bunch of people for the first time. Couple people who were here last week. Awesome. Where's the little of the last one? Perfect. There are a lot of people who say this is their first time, so I'm going to start with an introduction. My name is David Taylor. I'm co-founder and CEO of PromMaster. I've been building software businesses mostly for the last 13 years. Part of that was 5-year tenure as CEO of an AI company between 2012 and 2017. Back then, AI was a little different. The pinnacle of AI was basically sorting cucumbers with TensorFlow. It was pretty interesting, a lot of organized data manipulation through machine learning algorithms we did. My old company predicted viral spread of news content. Now, I just want to shout out to Dave, because last time, I think, which was the first time, I think it took us, 8 minutes or 10 minutes to get started, and now we're actually live, which is amazing. Dave and I have been really good friends for about, 5 years now? Yeah.
I can't even count.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Anyway.
Like we're brothers.
Exactly. We even have the same name. Some people in the last week's workshop claimed that we're twins. So we started dressing the same. Anyway, so Dave, what's going to happen today?
Well, what's going to happen is we're going to go through a presentation that we have prepared for you to give you an introduction to GPT-4 and how you can make the most use of it. And then we're going to focus on, I really want this to be as interactive as we can make it to be. So we are both monitoring the comments now. This is an improvement from last week, because last week
Data Studio is an improvement.
Yeah, because last week only David could read the comments. I couldn't. But now we have solved that. So I would love to answer as many questions as we can, David. So this is what I would like to focus on. I think what we should do is we talk a little bit about the basic prompting stuff.
Yeah.
And then we can do like a Q&A on prompting.
Definitely. Q&A was requested the first time as well, so I definitely recommend we do Q&A. We have a slightly different structure for those who are coming back to us. The first, first of all, we're gonna do a 60-minute workshop, but then once we're done with everything, we're just gonna say, okay, we're gonna stay for another 30 minutes and just do Q&A, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then when we are done with the prompting, then we're going to talk a little bit about custom instructions. And then we're going to focus on plugins, and with an emphasis on KeyMate, because first of all, KeyMate is one of our proud partners. So we are
That's
very
where most
happy
of you guys have come from, I think. Yeah. So KeyMate is basically sponsoring this workshop, and we love you guys for it. And one of the interesting things I found out is that there are a lot of plugin users, and this is something we like to talk about, is that when you talk to a bunch of people in a room who are frequently using plugins, you can easily forget that there's actually not a lot of people who are using plugins, right? Mm-hmm. It's like there are a bunch of ChatGPT users, but only a very small portion of those people are actually ChatGPT Plus subscribers, which is what, 4%, 5%? It's like 4 or 5 million people are only using.
Well, hold on a second.
Okay.
Because something that we had some old information.
Okay.
Was that OpenAI was making $80 million a month.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And then from that we concluded that there are 4 million ChatGPT Plus subscribers. But it turns out that OpenAI is also making money from other revenue sources.
Of course, yeah.
Which
the
means
API.
Yeah, API calls, and which means that there are less than 4 million ChatGPT Plus subscribers.
Not to mention
500 of them using the plugins.
Okay, so it's like 500,000 people are using plugins.
500,000, yeah.
500,000 people are using plugins. That means that just the fact that you guys are here with us today, that means that you're here because you got the email from Keymate, which means that you are one of the plugin users.
Yeah.
You guys are one of the 500,000 people in the world who are probably the most knowledgeable about ChatGPT. Just let that sink in for a second.
Yeah.
Right? You are one of the 500,000 who are the most knowledgeable. Welcome to the 500,000 club. It's amazing, right? It's like,
yeah.
Oh, hey, look, mama, I'm special.
Okay, so how about we just get started with, doing the actual workshop?
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay, I'm gonna give me a few seconds to. Okay, here we go. So this is our presentation now. I hope everyone can see that. Yes. Okay. Lovely jubbly. Let me go back here.
I hope that you would be showing yourself. So I was just kind of wiggling around in the chair, and people were looking at me.
So what we're doing now is we are I am manually switching the speaker. So sometimes I forget to switch to myself or switch back to David. So sorry about that. We are working on solutions that can automatically track this, but it turns out that you need to buy like a minimum of $5,000 production, like a streaming device.
Yeah,
that's the cheapest one that can do the.
But we're not switching. At least we now have some LED lights in the background, which is that's more important anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So welcome to the workshop. On this workshop, we are going to talk about GPT-4. So first, we're going to walk through to give you a little understanding of GPT-4, but I know that most of you are already GPT-4 users, so we're not going to spend too much time there. We're going to then talk about GPT-4 prompting. I'm going to give you the 5 tips that we have for writing the best prompt. Then we're going to talk about GPT-4 hallucinating, which is when it just gives you some gibberish and false information, and how you can stop and overcome that. One of the solutions for that is GPT-4 plugins. And within plugins, we're going to talk about advanced web search and a personal knowledge base. So I'm going to give you a 2-minute overview of GPT-4 versus GPT 3.5. So first off, the token limit. The GPT-4 has double the token, the context window that it has. And to define the context window, what that is the amount of text the model can see at once. So as the conversation that you do with ChatGPT gets longer and longer, it starts forgetting information from the beginning unless you tell it to refer back to the beginning. So then it starts to lose that amount of information from its short-term memory. And with GPT-4, you have more tokens to play with, which means you can write longer text with it, and you can write longer prompts and have a longer conversation. Next is its performance. The Uniform Bar Examination is a United States exam for lawyers. Every lawyer needs to pass this. And GPT 3.5 only scored in the bottom 10% of everyone who completed this test, whereas GPT-4 has so advanced reasoning skills, and it's so good at finding the information in its brain that it's scored in the top 10%. So we can pretty much say that GPT-4 has a brain power of more, like a better brain power than most United States lawyers. Availability for between the two models is also different. So as you know, GPT 3.5 is free, but GPT-4 can only be accessed to ChatGPT Plus subscribers like you are. And I think this is one of the reasons why there isn't that much content online about GPT-4.
It's not just about GPT. It's not just about GPT-4. It's like we have Code Interpreter, which is now called Advanced Data Analysis.
Yeah.
We have almost 1,000 plugins, right? And we have so many things you can do with ChatGPT Plus.
Yeah.
But everyone is just only scratching the surface. Most of the people we talk to, and I talk to a lot of people, in the last 6 months, we've had more than 1,000 users, right? 1,000 students. Mm-hmm. And so we've talked to thousands of people, and most of the people are only using GPT 3.5.
Yeah.
Right? The classic issues, hallucination, and it's making mistakes, whatever. 90% of them go away the moment you start using GPT-4, and that's when the fun starts, right? That's just when the fun starts. Someone just said in the comments, it's like plugins are like books, and I think it's a pretty good analogy because we are getting more and more and more books, just like we're getting more and more and more plugins, and each and every one of them have their own use, but you just need to need what do you want them to use for.
Yeah.
That was grammatically just completely messed up, but I think you get my point.
Well, another comment that I would like to highlight is from Bishop, who says, LOL, my whole workday is ruined once ChatGPT goes down. I forgot how to search Stack Overflow. So, yes,
I
GPT-4.
saw that. Have you seen that chart? Like Stack Overflow monthly visits just completely plummeted in the last 6 months. Because,
really?
Yeah, because everybody is just using ChatGPT to search public repos on GitHub, to write code and everything. I think we should go and move forward.
Yeah.
Before we just get sidetracked.
Yeah, two people with
ADHD. That's the two Davids with ADHD. Good luck, guys.
Okay, so pricing
Find an AI for that.
Yeah. Pricing for between the difference between the two models, GPT 3.5 is obviously a lot more expensive, but it is less powerful. So if you pay via the API, which is still up, even though ChatGPT is down, the API usually has a lot more uptime.
Yeah.
So API users.
They're running on a different instance, right?
Yes. Yeah. So API use is more reliable, but there are no plugins there. So that's the trade-off. So just to give you why is it worth it to use GPT-4? It's better at writing text. It's better at reasoning. It's safer, so it's less likely to give you harmful and just unsafe responses. Illegal stuff. It's a lot better at writing code, just like Bishop said that his day is ruined now. Advanced data analysis, where you can upload files, code, long CSV files, longer documents, and it can do some data analysis there. And you have access to plugins, which is a big, like a Swiss Army knife for ChatGPT.
It's a big plus.
It's yeah. So I'm gonna give you show yourself out. Okay. ChatGPT prompting basics. By the way, David, do you know why I'm not seeing the YouTube chat live? It's like I haven't seen a new chat response in like 5 minutes.
I am seeing the chat live. But,
I figured out. I was on top chat instead of live chat. What a boomer moment. Okay. So ChatGPT prompting basics. Let's get back to
boomer. But now they are called like doomers, right? AI doomers. That's the new boomer.
Yeah.
So doomer.
Okay, ChatGPT prompting basics. What do you need to know to give or to get a good response from ChatGPT? So what average users do is in the prompt, they only give ChatGPT a task. For example, write me a brownie recipe. What ChatGPT pros do is they use all 6 elements of a good prompt. So first they give a context and a persona. They describe the task. Then they give examples. They provide restrictions and constraints. They tell what is considered good, what is a good outcome. And then they provide steps to achieve a goal. Elements 3 to 6 are optional. 1 to 2 are absolutely necessary. So, for example, a prompt can be act as an advertising copywriter who is witty, concise, and its primary objective is to make ads that people remember. Write a Facebook ad copy and describe the creative. The product to promote is, and then the Pro ChatGPT user puts in the product description there. And then if they want to, they can insert examples, restrictions, and so on, just as I said on the top part of the slide. So all 6 elements. You don't need to use all of them, but you need to know when you can use which one. Prompt Master's 5 tips for better prompting. First, give ChatGPT a persona. And we are going to discuss these in I brought you separate slides.
People are complaining that they can't see the right side of the screen because your video are blocking the slide information.
Okay, let me then go back. Yeah, that's correct. I'm just gonna move my.
I don't know. We need to kind of start designing the slides in a way.
Yeah, I just moved myself to the other side so they can take a screenshot of it.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
I remember I used to have a slide template that had a rectangle there.
We did the courses with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I forgot to do it for this, but there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
Kaizen, only 1% better every day. Okay, I'm gonna move myself back to the corner because that's the least likely that I will obstruct something. And feel free to take screenshots, but you'll also be able to access the recording after the workshop. So
we'll the same link.
Yeah, we'll just put this link into your bookmark, and then you can just come back to it. So our 5 tips for better prompting. 1, give ChatGPT a persona. If you have a job where you have a title, like you're a PR agent, then tell it, act as a PR agent, and it's probably going to do 95% of your job already. 2 is to define your personal brand tone of voice and writing style, or the brand that you're writing for. 3 is to provide examples. 4 is to define expected behavior or constraints. And 5 is to define what makes a response good. And I think these are also tips that are just required for good delegation.
Yeah, well, one thing that we found among the people, among our students, what we found is that people who completed our prompt engineering course, after learning how to prompt ChatGPT, they actually became better managers.
Yeah.
That's one of the one of the unforeseen benefits of learning how to prompt. You just become a better communicator.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to communicate effectively with something who is almost talking like a human. So when you start using that to talk to humans, you become a master communicator.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
It's very interesting. Sometimes when I talk to people, I ask them can you give me an example? And this is so common.
Yeah.
But we just forget to do that with the AI. Because sometimes it doesn't ask back, give an example, but an example just helps it so much to understand. Okay, I'm going to go dive a little bit deeper into each of these tips. So first is to give ChatGPT a persona. That is the background setting of the prompt. The persona is like the personality of the prompt. And then you can have all kinds of different personas. The template that you need to fill in is to act as some kind of title who has a certain tone of voice and has a primary objective of something. So for example, context. Act as a copywriter who is friendly, funny, and informal, and their primary objective is to sell as many cupcakes as they can. So always start your prompts with some kind of context to give to ChatGPT. The second tip that we have for you is to define your brand's tone of voice and writing style. The question is, can you describe in a few words? Oops, I'm showing you.
Yeah, it's still me.
I just seen it. Sorry, guys. So define your brand's tone of voice and writing style. So if you can describe it already, like you're bold, controversial, aggressive, or maybe on the opposite spectrum, calm, empathetic, and short-spoken, then you can just put that in and it's going to give you a really good output. If you don't have these, use reverse prompting that I'm going to show you in the next slide. With reverse prompting, you can compare 3 different chunks of text. First one being yours, or the one that the brand wrote that you're writing content for, and then 2 other from 2 different authors. And send in a prompt that says, I'm going to send you 3 different texts from 3 different authors. I'd like you to act as a copywriter coach and help me surface what makes the first author's text unique from the other two in all areas of writing, including but not limited to tone of voice, vocabulary, style, logic, and use of rhetorical tools. Text 1, you put in the text 1 there. Text 2, you go on, and the text 3, you just put all of these into one prompt, and then it's going to give you an analysis of what makes the first text different than everybody else. And that's what's going to help you differentiate your brand and use ChatGPT to... I need to move my face again, the camera, so you guys can see the other side of the prompt as well. So you can take your screenshot now, and I'm going to move on to the other slide. Third tip is to provide examples. And this is like showing your friend a picture of your house. If you do that, they will be able to better find your house when they're coming to the party. So it really helps the AI model to understand what you're asking for, what kind of output you're expecting from it. But it's optional. It's when you should use, when you want to modify how ChatGPT says things, what kind of formatting it uses, and what kind of words it uses, and so on. So to provide that in the prompt, you can say, examples, here are some examples on how our brand communicates. And then you just put in examples. These examples are from our prompt engineering course, one of the exercises where the students have to write marketing material for a cupcake company in the tone of voice of a 12-year-old cupcake addict girl. And
cupcake addict, I love that.
Yeah.
I still love that.
Well, you know, this is an ongoing problem for kids because they just love sugar. So this is a common thing. So one of the ways you can do that is if you already have sentences from a certain, for a certain brand communication, then you can just put those in, and ChatGPT is going to put those into the response. Fourth tip is to define expected behavior and constraints. This sets the boundaries for the response. It tells the model how to behave. So for example, you can say, in your marketing strategy, keep in mind our limited resources. For example, we only have a 5-people team. So that way, it's not going to give you marketing strategies that are used for like big multinational companies. It's going to give you tips that you can actually make use of. Or another way to give constraints is for tweets to say, only give me tweets of a maximum of 280 characters, or for a blog to say at least 500 words. I put the stars there because I want to put in as a disclaimer that ChatGPT doesn't really know how to count these characters exactly. I think I'm already seeing some improvement in this. So it's getting a little bit better, especially GPT-4, but it sometimes still goes over these character limits. So one thing you can do is to, in the example, already provide text that is in similar length to what you want to receive, and to say the constraints in different words like long or short, structured or unstructured, detailed or surface level. And then that way you can give, or you can get better outputs. And then the final tip is to define what makes a response good. And this is something that you also have to do when you're delegating tasks for people as well. This what really sets the standard for the response and can really personalize the response. So if you don't know what makes a response good, like your output that you're looking for, you can just already ask ChatGPT to, in a prompt before, to tell you, like, what do you think makes a privacy statement good? Or you can search with the Keymate.ai search plugin, and it's going to look up articles, from people who wrote it.
Can we just stop for a second? Because there are a couple things about what makes a responses good that I think are important to mention. And, you started the presentation with talking about how it is, thinking faster than most of the lawyers in the United States. Mm-hmm. But there are also things that ChatGPT is pretty bad at. For example, counting, right?
Yeah.
It cannot count.
Yeah.
And this is actually, some of the people are also complaining about that in the comments. Mm-hmm. It's like, ChatGPT cannot count. And we're actually going to touch that in a second. But just always remember that even though you are talking to a machine, it feels like you're talking to a human. And it is in that sort of uncanny valley where it feels like it feels human, but it's not human. Mm-hmm. So it's difficult. This is where it's really difficult to have a proper conversation, a productive conversation, because you can easily prompt a machine and you can easily talk to a human, but somewhere in between, that's not really easy, right? So there is this thing, we actually made content about it, called the Moravec's paradox, mm-hmm. right? Because the Moravec's paradox says that there are things that are incredibly easy for humans, but it's just for some reason incredibly difficult for machines to do. Like when I explain to a 5-year-old kid, hey, help me with cleaning up the table after dinner, they're like, I show it to her and then it's easy. Just after one example, she knows what it means to clean up the table after dinner. Mm-hmm. But teaching that to a machine, even get it to do it, is incredibly difficult. But when it comes to things like, write a thesis on, particle physics, or make arguments about for and against, the death penalty, then ChatGPT can probably outsmart most humans, mm-hmm. right? Easily. Yeah. And that disconnect is what's called the Moravec's paradox. And it's really important to take that into account when you want to define what means that a response is good. Because if you want the response to be, 500 words or 2,000 characters, and if you put that in, it's just not going to happen. It doesn't understand that.
Yeah. Well, Moravec's paradox is something we could talk about for a long time, I think.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a different live, not a workshop.
Maybe on one of our, chat podcasts.
Yeah, we should do a podcast.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm gonna, give you the microphone back.
Okay.
And that way you can show people how to use custom instructions.
Okay. So if I just move this around and click,
they can see the cursor, and try if you do a left click. Does it?
Perfect.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So how do you use custom instructions? This is a question that a lot of people have asked on the last workshop, and it just comes up again and again and again. So we wanted to make sure that we actually get into this for a bit. So first of all, to understand what custom instructions are, you can create sort of pre-made prompts that are sent with your prompt all the time. It's basically giving some extra fuel to your ChatGPT conversation, making prompting a lot easier. How does that work? Well, first of all, in order to understand that, let's take a look into the API. What you can see here is the chat completion API code. And even if you don't understand code, you will understand that there are roles and there are different designations for the roles. And if you look at it, you can see that ChatGPT has 3 different kinds of roles. There are system roles, user roles, and assistants. And what we're talking about is the custom instructions is the system role. So how does this look like? Pretty simple and easy. Again, user is your prompt. So when you are entering the information into ChatGPT in the code, that would be designated to the user role. The assistant role for ChatGPT, that's the ChatGPT response. So what happens when you don't have a custom instruction? First of all, when you don't have a custom instruction, you only have a user and an assistant role. User talks to the API sends back the assistant response. Your prompt, ChatGPT response. Your prompt, ChatGPT response. When you also have a system role, what do I do to go back one slide?
I can do that.
Okay, go back one slide. Yeah. So what you can see here, a system role says you are a helpful assistant, right? That means that the system role establishes the persona. The custom instruction is good to establish the persona. So when you have a custom instruction set, then what happens is that your prompt and the custom instruction gets put together and sent to ChatGPT together, as if you just type that into your prompt every single time. Now, do you remember this slide? What was it? 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago? it said give ChatGPT a persona, and Dave did a really good job, I think, explaining why that's important. Now, here's the thing. This is the custom instruction, right? Act as a copywriter who is friendly, funny, and informal, and their primary objective is to sell as many cupcakes as they can. That is a custom instruction. If you copy that into the custom instruction field, you don't actually have to write that in every single time. But that gives you a different kind of challenge, which is, let's say you spend 90% of your time creating copy. So you have this prompt for custom instructions, act as a copywriter, yada, yada. However, let's say that you want to do, like you want to write a legal document. Like, what do you do, right? Now, one thing you can do is leave everything as is. That will feel that you're dumbing down ChatGPT a bit, because you're asking a copywriter essentially to write you a legal document. Then what you can also do is just remove the custom instruction entirely, and then you just go back to the vanilla model, or you can add a new custom instruction. Last week, we had a couple of people who were coming back and saying, yeah, you can do, they had like their own library of custom instructions for different personas. There are different layers to it, depending on the different prompting strategies you're using, the different workflows that you're using them for. So that is something that we also teach in our school, and that is also something that you can find a lot of information about. Then the next big topic is obviously hallucination. Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the questions is, how do we access custom instructions?
How do you access custom instructions? Okay, so the way you access custom instructions, and that is a good piece of good food for thought for next time to put it into the slides, is when you open up ChatGPT, and on the bottom left part of the screen, you have the three dots that allow you to go into settings. Just click on the top, click on those three dots, and you will find settings and beta, logout, my plan, and also there is a custom instructions.
Okay, I can show it.
Yeah, go ahead.
There we go. So on the bottom, you can find your account.
Yeah.
Click these three dots, and then you have the custom instructions there. So you click there. You get like introducing yada yada yada, and then you can put in your custom instructions here.
So as you can see, the top part is the persona. What would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? And how would you like ChatGPT to respond? Right. There are a couple of interesting things. You can prompt it to always format their responses in tables or in markdown format or in a code block or whatever. And that will kind of guide you every single time. Mm-hmm. I personally use custom instructions very rarely, because for most of the time I'm just kind of using my own prompts, and it just makes it easy.
Something that I saw someone do online in a YouTube video is that they provided some really brief instructions on certain clients that they're working with. So they kind of defined each client on how they sound like.
Yeah.
So, and then they gave ChatGPT like a response that you should, like they say like !Nike, and then it would, load that part of the custom instructions.
Yeah.
But as you can see, you can only put in 1,500 characters into both of these
which is
parts.
not a lot.
It's not a lot, yeah. And this is because the custom instruction is being sent in every new chat in the beginning of the chat. So this is using up the tokens, and it shortens the token window.
It eats up your tokens really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move back.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm going to bring this one back here. Oh, please don't move the mouse.
Okay.
There we go.
How about now?
Now you can take it.
Okay, so ChatGPT hallucination. Why does ChatGPT hallucinate?
Oops, sorry about that.
What's happening?
Go now.
Okay, so why does ChatGPT hallucinate? This is a pretty basic idea, but also a lot of people are having problems with it. ChatGPT seems to have a lot of knowledge, but actually it does not have a lot of knowledge. It's just really good at talking. Imagine ChatGPT, vanilla ChatGPT without plugins. Imagine this as a lazy university student on the verge of dropping out, basically me 10 years ago, who did not study for the exam. Just goes to the exam and says, okay, I'm going to wing it, right? The professor asks a question and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, what happened in 1538? Oh, it was a tough year, man. I don't know.
And then they just say something that they're like
bullshit.
Super confident
Yeah,
about.
very confident.
And they try to bluff it like, oh, in 19 whatever, oh, this and this and this happened.
Yeah, it was a tough year. A lot of people were angry about it. It was considered not a very good year.
Everyone had one birthday.
Everyone had one birthday. Anyway, so that is because ChatGPT is not a brain. It looks like a brain, but it actually, all it can do is just talk, right? It's a big talking machine. It's literally a loudspeaker. And I'm just trying to remember there was this physicist who said that ChatGPT is basically an overglorified voice recorder / loudspeaker. That's all it is. And yes, that is actually true, but it is all it does is just replicate human language, right? Mm-hmm. The generative pre-trained transformer, GPT for short, all it does is you give it a string of text and it tries to predict what the next string of text will be. Which means that if you ask a question, then obviously it's like, okay, this is a question. Very likely, this is probably going to be not a continuation of the question, but it's going to be an answer. So what that answer could be? I don't know. This kind of sounds like it. So it doesn't even think about it. But how can you make sure that ChatGPT stops hallucinating? Because it does a lot of times. But how do you stop hallucinating it? Now, think about it as a human being. You have habits, which is commenting about the streaming being frozen. Okay.
Yeah, try to
refresh. Okay. Good for now? Is it good? Yeah? Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Thanks, guys. So, as I said, as a human, you're a creature of habit. You are trained on different scenarios, different situations. You're a creature of habits. And then, based on your habits, you can determine your course of action based on two more things. One is your short-term memory, the last day or so, the last 2 days, right? You remember what you've done. I remember pretty well what I've done yesterday. I remember pretty kind of well what I did last, 2 days ago, right? In great detail, right? That's my short-term memory. So let's say that, I remember from my short-term memory that I want to go that way because of my habit, but I remember that yesterday I went that way and it wasn't good. So I'm just going to decide that I'm going to go that way. So my short-term memory works. And then there's also the long-term memory, right? Long-term memory is I remember only a few things about my life going back from like 2 or 3 days past. I remember very few things about my weekend because I wasn't doing that many things, but I remember probably every single minute my last Wednesday evening when I got engaged. That's how it works, right? It's your memorable moments in your life get stored in a long-term memory. So that basically works pretty similarly for AI as well. First of all, you have training data that is used to train large language models that creates the habit. And then you also have prompts, which basically create the short-term memory. There is this term called the context window. And in the context window, ChatGPT remembers your conversation going back to a certain amount of characters, which is, how long is it, David?
Which one?
The context window for GPT-4.
8,192.
8,000, yeah. And also the important thing is that there are different models. GPT 3.5 has a 4,000 token context window, while GPT-4 has double that. But also there are a couple GPT-4 models that have 32,000 token context window. For example, the one that you get with Keymate Ultimate is also, I think, has 32,000 token context window, which means that its short-term memory is longer. And then comes the long-term memory, which is like, again, Keymate personal knowledge base is a good example. There is this whole approach called retrieval augmentation generation, which we're not going to go into in great detail. But the idea is that you start with a vector database. Every time you put in a piece of text, the text gets separated into separate chunks, and each chunk of text, each string, gets turned into a multidimensional vector in a database. So you can actually search in those in large amounts of text without eating up your token context window. So you pull data out from the long-term memory into the short-term memory, and then you can use the data in your prompts and in the responses. If you set up both of these, both the short-term memory with the great prompts and also the long-term memory with the vector database, a knowledge base, and you basically make good use of the entire token context window, then you can completely eradicate hallucination whatsoever. Which means that the more established processes and systems you have, which can be it can be unlocked with plugins.
Good in the studio, but we are going to pause until we're back. So let's see to refresh.
Okay. Is it coming back? Yeah, it says it's back.
Yeah. Okay, it seems like we're back.
Yeah.
We paused, so you didn't miss anything. So
yeah.
David, keep going.
Okay. So as I said, there are techniques to prevent the GPT hallucination. The first one is just feed information into the prompt so you can make good use of the short-term memory, the token context window. Then you can also just use Keymate AI search the web function. When you do that, what happens is that it basically tells GPT that, okay, do not hallucinate. I'm going to go out and find the relevant information. And then you can also, if you're not using the search function, you can also use the personal knowledge base, which is the long-term memory.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Let me.
Where is the cursor?
There's it.
Okay. Back to you, Dave.
So how do you prompt GPT-4 with plugins? And what I like to think of plugins as the Swiss Army knife for ChatGPT, because plugins can really enhance the functionality of ChatGPT. So to turn the plugins on, I think you have already done that because most of you are Keymate users. Go to the GPT-4, and if you don't see advanced data analysis and plugins when you select it on the top, let me switch to my camera. I forgot to do that again. You have to go to the settings, just like we showed you before with the custom instructions. So you have to go there and enter the settings, and under beta features, you have to turn on the plugins and the advanced data analysis. So once you have that, you can go to the plugin store and get pretty much all plugins that are there. I suggest for you to first go through the popular plugins and see what most people are using and get familiar with them. And then, go on and try to find some other plugins. So, for example, if you want to enable the Keymate.ai search plugin, you just open that little box under the GPT 3.5 or GPT-4 model selector, and then you can find the plugin there, and you have to tick it in the beginning of the chat to turn on this plugin, and you can turn on up to 3 plugins per chat. So each plugin has its own basic commands that somehow trigger the plugin itself. So what happens in the software itself is that ChatGPT is doing the responses, and the plugin is just there listening if you call it. So for example, for the Wolfram plugin that many of you mentioned for counting, basically any mathematical problem that you give, Wolfram is going to be activated and it's going to run. For the Web Pilot plugin, what triggers it is if you give just a URL that that is like a website that the Web Pilot has to use. And for Keymate.ai search, just using the word search the web, search my knowledge base, and so on, that's what triggers the plugin. For the Keymate use, there are a lot more commands like quick search, detailed search, specific website search, searching the personal knowledge base. Scan this QR code. Let me move my face again from the streaming so you can actually scan it. So scan the QR code because we put together like a Keymate advanced commands cheat sheet. So scan this QR code and let me know in the chat if you manage to open it and if you can see it, if it's all right. So basically in this, while I'm waiting for the chat, they say Street Pop TV says it works, so that's amazing. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. So take a screenshot of this, and then you can open this Notion page anytime.
I mean, it's pretty neat, this stuff. I've been using Keymate for quite a while, but even I found a lot of useful stuff in there when you put it together.
Yeah, we worked with Osgur from Keymate to really put this together in a way that there's like part one is like the simplified part, and then part two on the bottom is like the detailed stuff that's for really advanced users. So let me get back to the slides. So what we're going to do now is a demo. I'm gonna give the microphone back to David to just talk a little bit until I bring everything, bring the technology back.
Technology. Okay. Looks like it's stand-up time. So first of all,
Q&A. Chat Q&A.
Just keep asking a few questions, and I'm gonna try to answer them. And in the meantime, guys, I just want to say that thanks for sticking with us so far. Looks like we're breaking the studio internet connection, so there's gonna be a lot of stuff we're gonna need to upgrade. But I think compared to last week, we did a few interesting, amazing upgrades. And make sure that you stick with us until the very end, because we have prepared a special thing for you that we will share. That's gonna be before the Q&A. Don't worry. But in the meantime, while Dave is setting things up, there was Baljit saying us the question how to create a long-term memory. I think we're about to look into that.
Yep.
Right? So that's it. Is there a way to craft multiple personas, each with different knowledge bases? Pretty good question, JB. The thing is that you don't have to have different knowledge bases. You can have this basically it's called a data lake. A bunch of unorganized textual data can be put into one knowledge base, and then different personas will actually pull in different pieces of data from it, just like yourself. Just think about this. We wear different hats in our lives as humans, and we have this sort of unorganized series of information in our long-term memory. And when I'm playing the role of the co-founder of ProMaster, I'm using a different set of my long-term memory than when I'm a private person. And I think this was my cue to stop talking because Dave has set everything up.
Yes, indeed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to demo how you can use Keymate to first find information on the internet, and then we're going to dive deeper into the personal knowledge base. So you are here on GPT-4, and again, you just
hope it works.
Click into I mean it seems up there. So Keymate.ai search. I selected this. And I can just simply ask, like, what's the weather tomorrow in Budapest? Oops. And I can also say, do a quick search. Quick search is really useful if you're searching for information that can be found just by looking at the first page of Google. Like, you don't have to open the articles themselves. So what's the weather tomorrow in Budapest? Do a quick search. And now, as you can see, the plugin got turned on because I said do a quick search. It might have done it even just without it. It's really smart, so it turns on. But really, I just want to go always safe because I don't want to waste time like having to stop generating the text and then go back. So now you can see, I'm going to show you that what it does is a quick search. It searches for 10 pages. And as you can see, this is the response that gets put into KeyMate. So the weather for tomorrow. So it goes in there and there's like weather forecast, humidity, and so on. And so from this, it gets the information. So it seems like maybe what I did wrong is actually I shouldn't have gone for a quick search. So let's say, okay.
Or you could have
do a deep search now.
Or you could have just defined the response that you wanted to get.
Yeah, like give me the exact whatever.
Yeah.
So now with the deep search, what happens is it's only looking for 3 pages, the top 3 pages of Google.
Yeah.
But it's actually going to go in and read the website content from the first one. If it doesn't find the answer, it's going to go and read the content from the second one, and so on. So now it's actually going to go and open up the first one, which was AccuWeather. And then it's going to see, we are going to see if this gives us the response. Here's a more detailed weather forecast for tomorrow. So now it knows that tomorrow is Thursday, September 14th, and the temperature is going to be, it seems like it's going to be lower than today. So 23 degrees. The reason I'm demonstrating...
I don't really mind that.
Yeah, you are going on a holiday. So the reason I showed this is because this is how you can get up-to-date information with ChatGPT. Now, what I want to show you is another thing that we did, which is first I'm going to demonstrate without a plugin. So I'm going to actually go with the default GPT-4, and I'm going to say list me the 6 key elements of a prompt. And now it's just going to give me some kind of hallucination that it thinks are the prompt, the elements for a prompt. I didn't even say it's a ChatGPT prompt, and it's going to just go all over the place. And in the next one, I'm going to say query my knowledge base, because in our knowledge base we have uploaded one of like all of our courses, but one of them is a prompt engineering course, and in there you're going to find that it's going to get me the information from the document that I uploaded, so it can do a really good search and get the result.
The interesting thing that I find is that it actually like goes the extra mile to figure out stuff that just simply don't exist. Mm-hmm. Right? It's because you were very confident in your question. Like, explain to me these 6 elements. It's like, there are 6 elements. Yeah. You should know it. Like, you're basically gaslighting.
It didn't even question whether...
Right? Yeah. It's basically GPT's response to gaslighting is hallucination.
Yeah. So it didn't even question that there aren't 6 key elements. It just said, yeah, okay, here you go. So now let me demonstrate it with KeyMate. So I'm going to go GPT-4 plugins, and I'm going to enable the KeyMate.ai search plugin. And I'm going to say, search my knowledge base. This is the key. This is what's going to prompt the plugin to go into my knowledge base that I uploaded. And I'm going to now show you after this how you can upload new stuff to your knowledge base. So search my knowledge base for the 6 key elements of a prompt. So now we have to wait a little bit, obviously, for it to kind of get into
for the code to execute.
Yeah, to execute. But as you can see, now it sent a question, 6 key elements of a prompt. It put back part of my knowledge base that has some kind of relevance to this answer. And then there we go. 1 is context and persona. 2, task definition, just like in the order that I showed you on the slide. So this is how you can get up-to-date information out of ChatGPT from your knowledge base.
It even gave you the the examples. Oh, well, OMG, welcome to the yummiest place on the internet.
The exact example, word by word, that I found or that I had in my knowledge base. So, okay, so this is the knowledge base part. I'm going to show you how you can upload stuff here. One of the things is you can just basically say, okay, let's say save this to my knowledge base. And when you say that, it's going to go and save everything in the chat above into the
archive it
into the knowledge base. Yeah, let me scroll down.
It just writes.
So you can see, the queue is like it just writes it down and it's uploading it to my knowledge base. Now this is now redundant because I already have this information in my knowledge base. I just wanted to show you quickly.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you quickly how you can do this.
A quick
another thing.
Sorry, a quick insert because this is, I think, it's where it's relevant because all of you guys are Keymate users. So this is a Keymate AI feature that the knowledge base, you can easily access it if you are a Keymate AI, if you're on any kind of Keymate AI plan. So basically, if you are a paid customer of Keymate AI, you have access to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now it gave me back the information of, let me go switch back to my camera. So it gave me status success, and it says the information about the 6 key elements of a prompt has been successfully saved to your knowledge base.
Yeah.
Another way you can upload anything to your knowledge base is if you enable the ChatGPT plug, the Keymate.ai search plugin, and then you already have your PDF file hosted somewhere online with a URL, then you can say, upload this PDF from this URL to my knowledge base, and you just copy paste you just paste the URL of your PDF right in there, and that way it's just going to do the exact same thing that you saw. It's going to take the information. It's going to say status success. But if you don't have these hosted on your computer, what I'm going to show you now is if you go to the Keymate.ai web app, which you can find via Keymate.ai, and it's the entire domain is webapp.server.searchweb.keymate.ai. And here you have to log in with your Keymate account, but you guys, most of you already have this account. So you just open up your Keymate.ai account, and here you can load a PDF. So upload a PDF to load the content to your personal knowledge base. And I'm just going to go in and you can just go choose a file. I'm not sure. Yeah, here, for example, here's the last PDF, and I'm going to show it to you with a quick preview that this is like a 40-page PDF about.
That's the prompt engineer script. The course script.
The version 2.0. So now the 3.0 is a little updated from this.
Yeah. Okay.
But basically, our original value proposition was
here we go again with the word joke.
Was to wake up as a stormtrooper because
I'm going to monitor how many people leave the stream once you tell this.
Yeah, so stormtroopers always miss their shots, right? So this is what prompt troopers also do. Prompt troopers miss their prompts. So wake up as a stormtrooper, and then you can go to bed as a Jedi AI. And then you have it. We love puns here. We crazy Hungarians. Okay, so this is the PDF that now I want to upload into the knowledge base. I'm going to say upload. And then I have to click this upload word here. It says upload finished. So what it does is it first uploads it to an AWS server, and then it starts loading it into the personal knowledge base. So it says status in progress right now. And then, I think we have to wait like a half a minute, and then we can go there. I think I'm again on top chat. I don't know why I have to keep switching back to live chat.
Because you refreshed the.
I refreshed the stream.
And it goes the stream.
It got there. So to get this feature, you have to sign up to one of the Keymate plans that has the personal knowledge base, and then once you have that, you can upload as many PDFs as you want. Sometimes it might get stuck in the status. Sometimes it might say, "Oh, I can't read the file," or "File is too big." Then you just have to try again, and then eventually it will do it. So now, as you can see on the display, that it says status is done. File is also deleted. Check by visiting the file URL. So it basically says that it's not hosting the file anymore on the AWS server. So my file is deleted and it's safe, and it's just uploaded to this vector database, and it's transformed into like a huge vector database that I don't think we need to talk about right now. Maybe on a different piece of content, maybe like a separate YouTube video about this. So basically, this is what I wanted to show you. These are the advanced features on how you can use Keymate to make sure it doesn't the ChatGPT doesn't hallucinate and you get the best responses. So I'm gonna go back to. Actually, I'm gonna give you, David, the display and the camera now, because I'm gonna load the presentation and we can keep going.
Okay, cool. So Q&A time. Give me a question or 2 or 5 or 7. Let's see. Can we edit our uploaded file from the knowledge base?
Not yet,
but you can easily just delete it from the knowledge base, and then you can just upload the new one.
Well, here's the thing. You don't really need to do any of that. Because your knowledge base doesn't have like a certain size. You're not limited to how much stuff you can upload there.
Okay.
So you
can just keep uploading new stuff?
Yeah, you can just keep uploading new stuff, and then whenever you put in a query, it's going to find the most relevant information based on the meaning of the prompt and so on and so forth. Just like the Spotify recommendation algorithm or the YouTube algorithm finds you relevant content.
Okay.
Basically, the more content you have, actually, it might even give you better outputs. So it's not going to like bring in like the wrong information. If it doesn't find anything that is relevant in the vector space, it's close enough, then it's just not really going to give you the response. It's going to say, I didn't find anything relevant to this information.
Yeah.
So no, don't really need to manage or delete stuff from your knowledge. Just keep uploading your PDFs.
Keep doing it. Awesome. Okay, let's go back.
Yeah.
So, what's this number here? So here's a couple sort of finishing thoughts, and also a few ideas that I want to kind of give you guys. So far, we've covered the basics of ChatGPT, the differences between the models, how to prompt ChatGPT, how to use custom instructions, how to prevent them from hallucinating, how to turn ChatGPT into a Swiss Army knife with different plugins. And we also was diving into short-term memory, long-term memory, all sorts of different bits. And obviously we love Keymate. We love the search function, especially since web browsing was turned off. We also love the personal knowledge base, which does not have a theoretical limit at the moment. So obviously there is a lot more depth to these things. But one thing is pretty sure, and that is that in the last few years, there have been a lot of research put into the potential economic impact of artificial intelligence. And the figure you're seeing right now is the potential additional value it can add to the global GDP. Dave, do you know what's the global GDP today?
I have absolutely no idea, mate.
It's $87 trillion. So when you look at that figure, it becomes incredibly, incredibly crazy. So if you think about that, like, for example, Hungary. We live in Hungary. And in Hungary's GDP is about $180 billion a year. And if every country benefits from AI similarly, then Hungary is set to get another $30 billion boost per year to its economy just because of artificial intelligence. That's how big this opportunity is right now. This is why everybody is going crazy about it. And in fact, in the last couple of years, again, AI as an industry was not born when ChatGPT came out on November 30th last year. It's been around for a while, and there are actually over 58,000 companies on the planet that are working in or with or on artificial intelligence. This includes everything, all sorts of modalities: text, audio, video, data, machine learning, large language models, everything. And I think that's crazy, like almost 60,000 companies. But when you think about that, we've done some research, and there are 336 million companies on the planet, and only 58,000 of them are working on AI. When you put it that way, the whole game starts to look completely bigger. We are not even on day one, right? We are basically on hour one of day one. You guys belong to a 500,000 people club of 8 billion. you know more about artificial intelligence than 1% of the population. You're the top 0.5% of the population. And because you're the top 0.5% of the population, we came with a gift to you guys. So the problem with AI is that it's so crazy. There's so much noise in it, right? There is a lot of people, a lot of gurus, a lot of experts, a lot of business owners trying to monetize the industry, because every opportunity is a fleeting one, and AI is also one, because the market gets saturated, people start getting knowledge. And what we found in the last 6 months is that having a guide, having a sort of personal mentor to make sense of how to use AI for you, for yourself, is paramount. Because we all know that AI is an amazing opportunity, but how will it be an amazing opportunity for you? That is our answer, is the ChatGPT Accelerator Bundle. We are going to help you, and we give you this offer today to help you find how AI will help you specifically with your workflows, with your life, with your business. This bundle is basically everything we have right now. This is the second version of this bundle, and it's even updated. It contains the prompt engineering course and the newly revised prompt master course. We've had over 1,000 students in the last 6 months. So there's a lot of revision that went into these. I'm going to go into detail on what these are. You get one boost. What that is, you're going to know in a minute. And you're also going to get a 12-month membership to something called the Vault. So let's take a look at what these are. It's not working, Dave. It's not working.
There you go.
Okay, so the prompt engineering course, it's going to teach you how to think faster with ChatGPT. It's 4 hours of hands-on training with Mr. Dave Tallis. And as I said, we've had over 1,000 students so far. The full course is valued at $99. And I remember when we did the first version, it was just like 1.5 hours. And we've just kept adding and adding and adding new content to it. Then once you've mastered prompting, then the next step is the Prompt Master course, which is going to teach you how to become a ChatGPT consultant in 30 days. This is also what we're doing, right? We're basically spending half our time consulting companies and consulting people on how to use ChatGPT. We're going to do Zoom trainings with Q&A. The first one will be on the 28th of September. It's like a 2-hour workshop with all the different parts. It's the Prompt Master course consists of 5 different parts about how do you find clients for ChatGPT, how do you sell to them, how do you build the specific workflows. We're going to give you access to tools. We're going to give you access to all of our templates, or even the contracts. I'm going to give it to you. You're going to get everything that we do to monetize our ChatGPT knowledge. And most importantly, we're going to teach the one important thing, which is not just how to prompt ChatGPT, but how to do what we do best, which is you give me a task and I'm going to just pull up a screen share and solve that task with ChatGPT live. And when you do that on a sales call, it's pretty easy to sell ChatGPT services. It's really easy. But because we realized that that is actually pretty valuable for people, we also introduced boosts. One boost is valued at $197, which is pretty simple. Again, the value proposition is if you're struggling with a task, you can boost it. Boosting it means you send me the task over email. You tell me what you want, what are you struggling with, and then you send it to me and I'm going to do it for you with ChatGPT in under 15 minutes and send you a Loom video about it. So you send your task request to me via email, any task it can be that uses text or data, and I will teach you how to do it with ChatGPT on the Loom video. And the fourth thing in the ChatGPT Accelerator Bundle is the Vault. This is a new subscription service that we're going to launch, which is, again, all our knowledge, archived in the vault on an ongoing basis with the weekly group coaching where all the vault members can come together, ask questions live. And again, if you want us, we can even just share our screen and solve problems with ChatGPT live. You ask us, we do it. You're going to be prompting us. We're going to be prompting ChatGPT. That's the deal for the weekly group coaching. All the boosts that we do are going to be uploaded to the vault. And I can tell you, Dave and I just downloaded all of our conversations from ChatGPT, 2 weeks ago? Yeah. I think if we add all the other conversations we've had so far, we've had over 1,000 conversations with ChatGPT between the two of us since it came out last November. So we're going to go through all of them and start recording all the boosts. And, you know, it can be anything. People were asking about, what a boost looks like. So one of the first things I did, it was basically the first proto boost, was how do you segment your LinkedIn contact data to only have Hungarian people in them? Because it's kind of a mix. You don't get the language data. Some people are Hungarian but don't live in Hungary, but they have a Hungarian name. It was kind of a rather difficult thing. So I used Code Interpreter, Advanced Data Analysis. Once I downloaded all my LinkedIn data, I just uploaded it and did it. And then there was another task which I did, which was how do you scrape specific information from a specific website? You can actually do it with Code Interpreter, but it actually goes a bit deeper. What are your options? I just recorded the whole thing. I think it was 40 minutes and 40 seconds. The Vault membership is valued at $19 a month, and you're going to get, with the bundle, you're going to get a year-long membership. Yeah. Everything we do, you're going to get it for a year. It's basically the Netflix of ChatGPT education, right? It's everything. This ChatGPT bundle is everything we have to offer, all of our knowledge. And a couple interesting things is there are a couple people who have been our students before, and I can tell you that the people who purchased our ChatGPT bundle before, which was not this sweet offer, but it was a smaller offer, you guys will get the upgrade. You get the access to the Vault, and you get the opportunity to swap your one-on-one calls with the boosts as well. So this is a $1,500 value package, and the offer is that we're going to sell it to you. You can buy it for $397 until September the 19th. And it's pretty easy to make the purchase. You just have to go to prommaster.com/bundle. And once you buy it, you will get a welcome email. You will get enrolled on all of our courses. And you're going to get the notification to send us an email about your boost. And we're just going to send you everything, all the access for you that you need. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But basically, all you got to do is, if you love this workshop, if you feel that you got the value you were looking for out of it, we want to share everything we know with you. And the best way to do it is to go to prommaster.com/bundle. And we're basically giving away everything we have at a very, very, very deep discount.
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm most excited about in this bundle, and this is just my personal opinion on this, is the Vault. Because I know that education is going to be the next big thing when it comes to AI, because you need to learn how to use AI, but you cannot learn how to use 4,500 different AI tools or like 7,000 or how many there are. But you can learn how to use one really well. Yeah. And you only have to pay one monthly membership for ChatGPT Plus, and then one membership to get access to the Vault. And then from there, we will keep uploading new stuff from new plugins that come out, the hottest things and workflows, and that's going to be our basically the main value creation.
Yeah.
I see one question from...
There are multiple questions about the same thing.
From Shaggy Land asks, like, what's the difference between this bundle and the other bundle you shared in the previous workshop? Well, one thing is this one is available. The other one is not anymore. So this is the only bundle that
it has more value in it
that we have right now. And in the previous one, you only had the prompt engineering course, the prompt master 2.0, and a free, like an included 30-minute conversation with you.
Limited spots.
With limited, and they were like gone in like a day.
A day or so.
In a day, everybody, like 40 people booked in the calls. So that was the first bundle at the lower price. But now we added 1 year membership to the Vault.
Yeah.
Which is, I believe in itself is $397 worth at least. And the boost. So you get one boost, and then basically through that you can learn how to do that boost to others.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is that a couple people, so Tim, you asked us what happens if you've already purchased the previous one. So first of all, you have the opportunity to swap your one-on-one call with me to a boost. Pretty simple, just drop me an email saying, hey, I haven't booked my call. If you have, you can just cancel it and send me an email about the boost you want me to do. And the second thing is, you're going to get, so everybody who's purchased the previous bundle that we had, which had less value in it, you guys are going to get a free membership to the Vault. 3 months of free membership to the Vault.
Yeah.
And simple as that. Obviously, there is a difference in price. There is a difference in value. This is a different offer. So if you purchase the bundle now, Oscar, then you're going to get a 1 year membership. But I will want to also clarify one thing, because we're also just, still putting together everything. So the countdown for that 12 months starts when we launch the Vault.
Of course, yeah.
Right? It's not that you buy it now, so September 2024 is just it just expires. It's probably going to take us about a week or two to launch the Vault, and then you get a year of the goodies. And again, let's say Miblish asks, what if I bought the prompt engineer course already and now want the rest? I don't think we've actually thought about that. As an upgrade offer. What do you think, Dave?
Well, what we should do, in my opinion, is for everyone who bought the prompt engineering course and you want the bundle, we could just remove the $99 from the price. So you send us an email and we'll send you a custom coupon code that you can use, and you get a $99 discount. And that's available even if you bought it for like $50, because we had the prompt engineering course at the lowest was $50. Yeah. So with some campaigns. So yeah, I think we can just easily deduct that from the price. So if you have it, just message us an email like support@promptmaster.com, and then we can give you a coupon code.
Yeah. Okay. Let's spend some time on questions and answers.
Yeah. Comment in the chat whatever question you have when it comes to GPT-4, ChatGPT Plus, plugins, or the bundle itself. We are here to help you out, and we want to give you the most value that we can. I saw Tim. One of the things that Tim Campbell said that he's working in healthcare, in ER, and then one of the problems that we had, I don't think I can find the question. But Tim asked something about like, how can I make ChatGPT read or make stories for my kids, and because I'm too tired after the ER to kind of make up stories. Or it was something about that, and it's as a medical student who has worked in healthcare for a while. I didn't finish medical school, but I finished 4 years, so I've been there, and I know how tiring it is when you just get home. You helped people the entire day, selflessly, and then you just like, sometimes you feel like I can't give more to the people around me because I'm empty. And I think that's where ChatGPT can also give you like a helping hand, and think faster for you. Think faster
is, I think that's kind of that's the motto of everything around ChatGPT, right? Just imagine, what would you do if you could think faster? Because here's the thing. We have been learning about the word the exact same way for thousands of years, right? We have been learning about the word for the exact same way for thousands of years. And that is a problem because the word is becoming more and more complex exponentially. And our brains are not getting faster exponentially. Our brains are not getting faster, period. But what would you do if you could think faster? You could think 1,000 times faster.
Are you asking me or
I'm asking
the community?
You. Yeah, I'm asking you. And I'm asking you too. It's like, because I've been thinking a lot faster since I've been using ChatGPT. And the things that I've done is just mind-blowing. Projects that would take me 3-4 months, I was completing in under a weekend. It's crazy. The amount of productivity you can get is crazy.
Well, one of the things that I would do is what I'm actually doing right now. So whenever I have to write some kind of documentation to create like a landing page for a new product, to write an email, I'm just putting it into ChatGPT to like help me get it to like 90%, and it's just saving so much time. It's amazing.
Yeah. I think it's all about giving you back time.
Yeah.
Right? It's just reclaiming your time. So one thing that we've done, we're working with a PR agency in New York, and they make about $9-10 million a year. And it's really interesting because it's not a big company in terms of headcount, but the CEO, the founder, is the one who writes all the business proposals. Every single week, he writes the business proposals. And it's pretty crazy because he actually has to spend 40 hours a month on just writing business proposals. And half of the proposal is boilerplate, right? It's a template. Mm-hmm. But the other half needs to be written. So I just asked him, look, but what would you do if you could do all of that within just 10 hours a month instead of 40 hours a month? And he's like, David, I've been doing this for 30 years. I know exactly where I would put that extra time. I'm like, okay, what would you do? It's like, I would go to 2 or 3 more events where I get introduced to more people and I could get more clients. I'm like, okay, how many more clients? Like 2, 3, 4 clients a month. And, okay, so what does that mean in terms of revenue? And he's like, I could actually sign $500,000 more every single month if you could give me that 30 hours back. So I'm like, okay, so every year, if I give you back 30 hours a month, that's worth $500,000 a month to you. It's like, yeah, that's pretty simple. It's not that can you afford doing it? It's can you afford not doing it? Can you afford not liberating your time? Mm-hmm. Let me take a look at a couple other questions.
While you're looking for a question, I just want to welcome a few of our first members into this ChatGPT Accelerator bundle, and they did the Vault. So, for example, there's another David that signed up.
Nice.
So welcome, David. I see Erika here. Welcome, Erika. I also see Steven, Ricardo. I also see Jennifer, Rob. So a lot of people are already signing up, and this is lovely to see. So welcome everybody to this bundle. David, did you find a question?
Yeah. So somebody was asking about the Vault and some of the specifics of the Vault. So, David, why don't we just show that Loom video?
Okay, let me try. I'm not sure how we can. Give me a second.
Is it possible for us to just show one of these?
I can try. I'm not sure about the audio, unfortunately, but let me give me a second. Did you send it to me on Telegram?
There you go.
Okay. So what I need to do is to find how to get the audio into. Are there any other questions? Maybe from earlier in the during the workshop that we can answer while I'm doing this thing.
Yeah, so it's mostly about people asking about the courses as well. Yes, we do have an outline of the course. Actually, what's going to happen is that we're going to add and send out a few more pieces of information over email after this. The syllabus for the prompt engineering course and the syllabus for the Prompt Master course is fully on their own respective landing pages. And if you go on the website and you go on promptmaster.com, you can go to courses and you will find the Prompt Master course there and the Prompt Engineering course there, and you will find the syllabus for the Prompt Master. Not yet, because it's not updated yet. Sorry. There's a 404 error on the website.
Okay, but is it on the bundle or the
no, it's the Prompt Master course landing page is what's going to contain all the syllabus. But the point is that we're going to do 2-hour workshops on Zoom with live questions and answers. And you will get the full syllabus before making a decision. So if you have any questions, you can just shoot them to me, and I'm happy to help you make a decision on the bundle as well as the courses themselves. And regarding the Vault, it's I think one of the simplest things that we've done is like scraping data from the websites. But let me tell you one of the most complicated things that I've done with ChatGPT, and I'm going to teach everybody in the Vault on doing that. So there's a bit of a it's a bit personal, but I do have what's called the ghost disease. Nobody really knows what the issue is. I've gone to probably about 10 or 12 doctors in the last 10 years. That is that I itch sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody knows why. And there are no other symptoms. I just have that symptom. So interestingly, in 2015 I did a DNA test with 23andMe. So I now have access to my full genome in a TXT format. And I downloaded that TXT and uploaded it to Code Interpreter. And I know my patient history, and I kind of also know my family's patient history. And so I just wrote it down into a prompt, right? Everything I know, very unstructured text. I just wrote it down. And I'm like, can you help me figure out what's wrong with me? And so here's what happens. ChatGPT takes a look at my patient history, my grandfather's patient history, who was just diagnosed with a bunch of stuff, and is like, okay, so based on your grandfather's symptoms, I think it is very likely that you probably also have something similar because it's in the family. So I'm going to take a look and try to understand what's up with your grandfather. And turns out he has a genetic mutation. So, okay, ChatGPT says, I'm gonna take a look at your genome to see if that mutation exists in there. And it's like, no, it doesn't. But, there are a couple edge cases, so I'm going to look for edge cases. And it kept going on, and then it diagnosed with a rare blood disease that is like very rare. It's like 1% of the population, or even rarer. And among those people, only 5% of the cases, right? So it's 5% of the 1% of the cases. It's not this genetic mutation, but that genetic mutation. So it's like, okay, so you do have that genetic mutation. I'm like, holy shit.
Mm.
So, okay, but second question, does that actually explain my symptoms? So it's like, okay, what are the symptoms? And then it gives me a list of stuff. I'm like, okay, so here is what I'm experiencing. I have this, I have that. And so like very, very specific stuff. It's like, I went to Dubai for a week last year and I got sunburned and then my itching went away.
Mm-hmm.
And all sorts of things. And then it comes back and said, where in these sorts of myeloproliferative diseases, if you have polycythemia vera, even though if it is some kind of in some cases it might be idiopathic, but UVB radiation alleviate the symptoms. And it even explained the tiniest experiences and symptoms of my issue, which was absolutely mind-blowing. And then I'm like, okay, give me a therapeutic plan. What should I do? Is there a treatment? Obviously not. So I'm like, okay, put everything you just learned into a document that I can take to my doctor. Because now I'm giving you data that was impossible to analyze before by a layman. I'm in no way a geneticist. I'm in no way a data scientist. It's crazy. That's probably the most advanced use of how I use ChatGPT, and I also use it for a couple of for research. I do a lot of economic research. It feels weird to say that, but as a hobby, and it helps me a lot. This specific DNA analysis conversation I had with ChatGPT, that was 250,000 words. So it's like 227,000 tokens, the prompts and the responses together. I was doing that for a long time. It was basically my half a day. I was just like, holy shit, I'm onto something. I might finally get some answers to my issue.
Yeah, and I remember how much this bothered you in the last years since I've known you. Like this has been a big problem.
A very big problem.
Yeah. And none of the doctors could really help you with it.
Yeah, none.
Like none. And this is, I think, one of the ways when AI doesn't only help you think faster, but like better as well.
Exactly.
Because you yourself, you couldn't have done the entire research. Like it would have been impossible.
And not just getting research done, but I know nothing about myeloproliferative diseases. I can't even pronounce the thing, right? And I was learning so much about them while I was doing the research. It's crazy because I had a completely customized tutor in this.
Yeah. Well, I think our time is up, David. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you the bundle access last time. Oh, and now as I switch to the Loom. So unfortunately, I couldn't figure out how to make the audio work right now. I need to do some research on how to get the computer audio to stream as well. So what I did is I pasted the Loom video in the chat, and we're going to upload that soon to the Boost website as well. So I also see John sign up for the bundle. So welcome, John, as well. So what I'm going to do is I want to go back to the slide. So again, just a reminder, this offer expires next Tuesday, actually. So to get it, you should go to prommaster.com/bundle. If you have any questions to us, you can reach us at support@prommaster.com, and we'll see you guys online. I'm so happy to see that we have over 400 subscribers on YouTube, David.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And, I just want to say that doing these live workshops, I really enjoy this.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, we're basically doing like prompting ChatGPT all day, and then we go on live to talk about prompting ChatGPT. It's amazing. I love it. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to go to prommaster.com/bundle. I promise I'm going to learn how to speak at some point, but I can also promise you that you can learn how to prompt faster than I can learn how to speak. Take care.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.